Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in for our live broadcast of SMTV on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Willie Kelly.
You know, the recent Summer Olympic Games in London really put social media in the spotlight, and later we'll visit with a man right in the middle of that as we get a chance to talk with USA Boxing's Rob Howe.
In the meantime, remember, if you have a question you want to ask us about your social media projects, email us at questions@splashmediau.com, or you can tweet them to us using the hashtag SMTVquestions. We'll answer your questions on a future broadcast.
You know, if you have an iPhone, and if you've had it prior to September 11th, yesterday, it's interesting that your YouTube app wasn't actually made by YouTube. This is an app that was included on iPhone since the first iPhone came out, but it was built by Apple.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that. And it's something that obviously doesn't apply to Android phones like I carry, because Android is, all part of Google, and YouTube is all that same trend. Yeah. But it is really interesting that it's finally being, the actual YouTube application made by YouTube is finally being let onto the iOS software, just because it's going to allow some greater functionality, and also the big thing for YouTube is finally allow ad space, playing the ads before the videos and even the pop-ups underneath videos.
Very true. So it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people using iPhones. Makes sense for YouTube to finally build their own iOS app, and it was released yesterday, and it's available on either the iTunes Store site or directly on your phone. And I actually just downloaded it a little bit earlier today to kind of take a look at it and see what was different from the one that was already on the phone. And I like the navigation. It's got some swipe movements that you can use, and it's got a little bit better searching capability. And like you said, we are going to see ads now. What's interesting that I noticed is that it still doesn't have the built-in recording function like yours on the Android does. You still have to go in through your camera and send it to YouTube that way. It's kind of interesting that the iPhone version does not include a built-in recording mechanism in the YouTube app.
Yeah, I absolutely thought that was interesting too, just because I think that would give a lot of power users on the go a little more freedom. Again, that is available on the Android format of it, and I think on most of the tablet formats of it as well. Yeah,
probably so.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably something that's close to come in the future. We've got the new iPhone coming out soon, so that's always
true. Supposedly today, actually.
Yeah, so. We could see some recording functionality coming soon, I would imagine.
Very true. If you've downloaded the new YouTube app, let us know. But the recent Olympic Games in London highlighted the incredible impact that social media can have on the world. And one sport where this was on display was boxing. I recently had a chance to talk to Rob Howe, Marketing and Events Manager for USA Boxing via Skype, about how social media left its mark on their efforts during the Games. Rob, welcome, and thanks for joining us today.
Duncan, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I wanted to ask you, we talk a lot about social media for a lot of brands, and in our shows, we've talked about how social media has been incorporated into the Olympics recently, of course. But from a marketing standpoint, what have you noticed that's been different this year compared to years past?
Well, it's no secret that there was a tape delay on most of the events for the 2012 Olympic Games. In years past, a person might be able to avoid a Yahoo or an ESPN feed and go home and watch the events, and they'd be live to them. But with someone used to checking their phone 2 or 3, 4 times daily on their social media, they might pick up a spoiler alert for maybe one of their famous or favorite events: beach volleyball, swimming, boxing, etc. So we've seen in the Twitter social media age, information comes in real time, and that was an issue for a lot of people trying to watch the events live.
Now, with that real-time information, a lot of information has to be communicated to fans of boxing. The women came back from London with a gold and a bronze, but the men, the most successful boxing team in Olympic history, left London with no medal. So how did you communicate with fans who I'm sure were very disappointed with that?
We try to tailor our message in the most positive way possible, celebrating the accomplishments of our men's team, to get them what it took to get them to that point. National champions, Olympic trials champions, world championship medalists, etc. While we were disappointed in the outcome, we also had a strong finish with the women. The timing of the women's events after our men's team had been eliminated, worked in our favor, and we were able to finish strong on the final day with a gold from Clarissa Shields. We tried to not let the outcome of the bouts determine how we affected or how we reported the results. After every boxer was eliminated, we said, congratulations on a great American champion, and good luck in their future exploits.
That's great. So you kind of had your messaging down no matter which way it came out.
Correct. I think, we reported the results live every day, and we notified our followers of that, that if they wanted to watch them live on CNBC later in the day, that they could do that, but we were always going to report the bouts round by round as they happened.
Now, obviously, there's a huge hit in traffic and people talking about boxing during the Olympics, but amateur boxing is year-round, every day. What does your marketing strategy look like during those other 3 years between Olympic years?
Well, amateur boxing has a very dedicated and passionate following. The size of the following in a given year might be 35,000 people. During the Olympics, obviously, that's magnified and amplified just because of the stage and the publicity surrounding the event. But we don't expect a huge drop-off in the followers that we've accumulated during the time of the Olympics. These people are passionate. You should have seen some of the responses during wins or losses. We also have a tremendous – boxing is such a niche market that those that follow professional as well as amateur want to see news all the time. So we always broadcast our top-level final bouts in our national championships, Olympic trials, Golden Gloves, etc. We always push those events out. So people will still have content to follow during the 4 years between the Olympics. That's great, and obviously it's paying off because your community is staying strong all the time, not just in those Olympic years. That's great. Yeah, we had immense growth during the Olympic Games and in the last year when we've begun to take social media more seriously and made it more of a focal point, and it's really improved our levels of communication, not only with our membership, but with our athletes. We found that that's usually the best way to get in touch with them is just through a tweet from USA Boxing. Rob, thanks so much for joining us today, and we can't wait to find out what's next in the world of social media and sports together. If you're a boxing fan or just want to learn more, visit the USA Boxing website at usaboxing.org. Now's the part of the show where we answer questions that our viewers have sent in during the week. Our first question is from Samantha, who would like to know, should I refollow everyone that follows me? That's kind of up to personal discretion, personal usage. But in my opinion, I would say no, you don't want to refollow every single person that follows you. Largely because a lot of people that follow you inevitably are going to be people that you're not interested in, and also spam bots. And you also increase your authority and value on Twitter by being somewhat selective. Now, that's not saying you want to be so selective that you don't follow anybody that follows you. But you do want to keep it relevant and keep it with people in your industry and in your focus, and maybe at most reaching out to another group of people that you consider highly influential that may be outside of your industry. But I really would say not to refollow every single person that follows you. Yeah, I totally agree. You shouldn't feel like you have to just because they follow you. Mm-hmm. You should follow people because they have something interesting to say, because they're in your industry, because they have something to offer back. 100%. Miguel wrote to us, what are the rules involved with running a contest on Facebook? I heard something about a third-party app being required. That's true. Actually, Facebook does require you to use a third-party app, and a lot of these services have free versions or free trials that you can use. ShortStack is one that we like a lot. So once you get your app set up, it's important to go ahead and put the rules plainly on that promo or contest, and you can create these. There are a lot of templates out there, and you can modify it to suit your needs. The main thing to think about is not requiring likes in order to win. You can have people like in order to see more or to enter or to take some sort of action. Mm-hmm. But basically, you can't say, like our page and you win $10. Yes, exactly. And the big whole purpose for this is just under Facebook's protection. They don't want to be liable for any typos, errors, or issues some company may come up with a contest. So they really are just requiring the third-party apps and those third-party rules, with yourself being the third party or whatever software you're using,
to really put the liability on the people running the contest, which is completely appropriate and understandable.
Right, very true. And you can do other things with campaigns and promos without necessarily involving an app. If you want to do a little caption this contest or some sort of a fun giveaway on Facebook. But the best way to do that is just to give away something as a surprise. Don't make it a requirement. Don't make something a requirement in order to win. But give away, you know, a gift card to a random fan because you feel like it, because it's a great thing to do to make your brand stand out.
Yeah, and just really show that you care about your community
Right.
and you want everyone to be as involved as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way to do it. That's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining us today for our live broadcast of SMTV.
Remember, if there's something we can help you with, don't hesitate to contact us and submit your questions.
For Splash Media, I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Willie Kelly. Thanks for watching.